I noticed that a couple of days ago.
My company was in charge of all the gates.
I'll do that. I didn't bring my PS flyers though.
See, but I think you could.
I tried.
They had it all nice and neat and tied. I come up here Sunday in the office working. That flag was open. I said, oh my gosh. I forgot to say anything until today. I was like, well, the rope's broke. It's a big flag, big flag.
I can go to any hospital, you know, I got track cover.
Same here.
You can't beat us. But I go to VA, I go to Cincinnati.
Yes, I go to one, for my
yeah.
regular doctor, she's in Georgetown, so I go to her. But for anything
Yeah.
big or anything like that, I go to the one in Cincinnati, but I couldn't get into work though.
We'll call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for prayer.
You bow your head and pray with me, please. Our Lord and Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us gather again to serve the citizens of Bracken County. We ask that you will always guide us in your direction and be with our law enforcement, first responders, servicemen and women around the world that take care of our freedom and our democracy, and be with those that are sick, ill, even within our own ranks. In your name we pray. Amen.
Roll call.
Sandy Roof. Here. Craig Miller.
Here.
David Kelch.
Here.
Danny Holleran.
Here.
Debbie Mayfield. Here. John Scott.
Here.
Heather Brumley. Here. Kevin Gerald.
We'll now have the approval of the regular minutes from the regular meeting, May 27, 2026. If everyone's had time to look those over, I will ask for a motion on the floor.
Motion.
Motion by Debbie Mayfield. Do I have a second?
Second.
Danny Holleran. Is there any discussion or corrections? Call for a vote.
Craig Miller.
Yes.
David Kelch.
Yes.
Danny Holleran.
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield.
Yes.
John Scott.
Yes.
Heather Brumley.
Yes.
Judge Teagarden.
Yes.
Sandy Roof.
Yes.
The special meeting minutes for Monday will be on the next agenda for approval, along with this meeting. Moving on to old business, road department update. Stacy?
We're mowing, the side mowers are on Augusta Berlin, heading toward Foster. 2 bush hogs are at Milford. Hoping to finish up there a day or two. We got everything cleaned up for the Milford high water a week or 2 ago, and the last couple roads opened. Jet Road was really washed out there by the bridge. And then Tom Enix finished drilling both sites on Snack Creek. He just got to put the rail in.
I had nothing but praise on your boys that was doing the bush hogging on the side of the roads. They was really pleased. Yeah.
Anything further for the road supervisor this morning?
Stacy, did they get the culvert put in at Lockmire?
No, they have not got a permit or anything.
Okay.
Because I advised the owners that they would have to get a permit, but they have not come and seen me and have got an address as far as I know.
Okay.
Anything further for the road supervisor? Animal shelter expansion, I have not gotten a reply back from the architects. Magistrate Miller, you didn't have anything back yet either.
Yeah, Judge, she called me yesterday, said that they got the survey from you and that they're going to go ahead and send the survey to start the permit process in Frankfort. Possibly 6 to 8 weeks for that to come back from Department of Housing, Building, and Construction. They do have an expedite process that may increase it from 4 to 6 weeks as opposed to 6 to 8 weeks. She said it'd probably be more than $1,000 to go that route. So that's a discussion we could have. I said that I probably would say no on that since we've already been this far along with it.
Right.
So But
I can
they
agree.
they were gonna go ahead and submit that to Frankfurt either yesterday or today.
Just to let the record reflect, the ACOs have put a monthly report in your folders. They will be here, the first meeting, I believe, in July to give an annual report for the shelter and Bee Cane and everything that's been going on at the shelter. Property Licking Estate surplus, I still have that tabled. New business, I would like to ask the court to vote to have Christy Dodge from Buffalo Trace Ad District added to our agenda today. I had handed out some paperwork that she sent me. This is regarding opportunity zones in Bracken County, and I believe it won't be offered again for possibly, 10 years? So if we could get her added to the agenda just to give us the information and let us decide if we'd like to at least submit an application at this time.
I'll make a motion to allow Chrissy to speak.
Second. Okay, a motion by Craig Miller and a second by Debbie Mayfield. Call for a vote.
David Couch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran.
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield. Yes. John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Ruff,
Yes.
Craig Miller.
Yes.
So you've been given, Christy, I'll have you take the podium. You have been given an email that Christy had sent out regarding the opportunity zones with the mapping on the back, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Christy.
Yeah, so the federal government, they approved to designate what they're calling opportunity zones. They had, there was a first round of opportunity zones that went through, I think it was in 2020 or 21. It was right after COVID. And we assisted each of the counties with applying for opportunity zones at that time. Those opportunity zones are expiring this year. And so the federal government has decided to extend and redesignate new opportunity zones. So it's kind of a whole new process between the state and federal side. Opportunity zones will be designated according to census tract, so it's not by city, county boundaries. And attached to what you have is a map that shows, and I don't know if it's what you have is a color map, but it's a green color. If you have a black and white map, it's probably going to be like the darker color.
It's great.
It is green. Okay. So that is the eligible census tract. It's just one within Bracken County that's eligible to apply to be an opportunity zone. It's a federal-state process where at the state level, the Cabinet for Economic Development is taking applications from local units of government, and the applications are recommendations. So it's an application for a recommendation for the state to recommend to the federal side that this census tract be made into an opportunity zone. The deadline is this Friday, the 12th, and then July the 1st is when the governor, after his review of everything and the cabinet's review of all of the applications that come in, he'll make a recommendation to the federal side for 136 tracts within the state of Kentucky to be designated. And what an opportunity zone is it will last for 10 years, and it provides federal tax incentives for capital investments within that census tract. And I tried to list in the email a few things. I never did get a chance, I'll be honest, I never did get a chance to really dig into it and see exactly what all the benefits are, but some of the benefits that I did highlight is capital gains deferment, a reduction of taxable amount on capital gain with each year filing, and then tax-free growth on investments, and if the investments are sustainable for 10 years or more. So the purpose of the opportunity zones is try to attract private investment and capital gains within what they consider an economically distressed area, and that's why that census tract is actually eligible. It had to meet certain criteria with being economically distressed and population, rural versus metro, those kinds of things.
So this is kind of comparable to like the economic development promotion of an area in our county.
Somewhat, yes. It provides, basically the bottom line is that if a census tract is designated and there's private investment, it starts in 2027. So if this census tract is designated as an opportunity zone, any private investment that goes into that capital investment would be eligible for federal tax incentives and tax breaks. So it makes the area, more appealing is the goal of the opportunity zone for development to occur within. I'll be glad glad to answer any questions that I can.
And there were multiple Kentucky Opportunity Zone projects that came out of that earlier, whether they want to call it Opportunity Zone 1, 5, 6 years ago across the state, just from reading different things back then. But it's just odd that it doesn't even follow highway boundaries, it looks like. I mean, the northern part is, it's not the AA, it's not Route 10, it's just basically in between Brooksville and the AA highway, and then spread throughout the southern part of the county.
Yeah, again, it goes by just the census tract boundaries, which is, according to U.S. Census, and then what makes it eligible is based on the criteria. So they look at just that census tract boundary as to what the median household income is and the poverty rate. There was a few different ways that it could be made eligible, so.
So if the state can only submit 136 recommendations, do you know how many Opportunity Zone districts there are beforehand?
I do not. I did not count. So I do know that there is at least one in every county, or there appeared to be. There may have been a few counties that didn't, but just glancing at the map. So I hate to say for sure that there was one in every county, but I would venture to say that there's probably at least that and probably more.
And do you think the governor's office solely will make the decision, or the Economic Development Cabinet?
I'm not exactly sure how that process is. I know the economic development, the application process is a little lengthy and asks for a lot of details on both the census tract itself, but then you also have to provide information on any build-ready or shovel-ready sites that you have within that census tract or that's within 10 miles of that census tract. So there's a lot of information that goes into it. All of the applications will go to the Cabinet for Economic Development. I'm not exactly sure like what the criteria is as far as like if they're going to score or rank, but there is a process to that, and then that will go to the governor's office for him to make his final recommendation.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what we need today is permission from the court for her to apply Friday with
If-
the
yeah,
application.
if the county would like, yeah.
As a majority is in favor of this.
Yes.
People own this property, I mean, don't they have to, would that person have to agree to do whatever with this?
No, what it is it's just, for example, your industrial park. I know it's not included in the census tract, but what it says is that all the property within that census tract, if there's private investment that goes into that to create a new industry or business, or someone settles within an industrial park that's inside of a census tract, then that entity would be eligible to apply to the federal government for tax incentives and tax breaks.
But they're not gonna come in and like take people's property or anything like that.
Yeah. Right. So kind of like an example of that, I guess, is that if you owned property and it's 20, 30, and an industry comes in and says, I really like your property and I would like to buy your property, you as a landowner have the option to say yes or no. But you decide, yes, I'll sell it to you, and then they create an industry there and they build a distribution center or something like that on it. Then the capital investment that they put in on that property as the new owner, they would be able to apply to the federal side for tax incentives and tax breaks.
So it'd be a tax incentive from the federal, but not from the local, to get taxed.
Correct.
Judge, I make the motion to approve Bracken County as a Opportunity Zone 2.0 eligible for Buffalo Trace to make our application.
So Craig Miller's made a motion. Do I have a second on the floor?
Second.
John Scott. Is there any further discussion or questions for Christy Dodge? Then I'll call for a vote.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Christy,
you.
very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Chris.
And you have a copy of that, you said? Okay. moving on to the next item, we have the bid award for paving, and you all have been given copies of those bids. We received two, one from Mago Construction Company and one from H.G. Mays Corporation. I recommend H.G. Mays due to being the lowest bid, and it was for Perina Road and Fords Avenue. And both of these were the CPPP projects applied for in 2024 and 25-26.
And we've also used this company before,
Yes,
quite a few times.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I'll make a motion that we accept the Mays bid at $193,323.
I'll second.
So Sandy Ruff has made a motion, Heather Brumley has seconded. Is there any further discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Ruff,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran.
Yes.
The next item is the bid award for the mini excavator. You've been given a packet of all those bids as well, and they will be in the minutes for the next meeting. We received from Kubota and Wilson and McCoy, I believe, and my recommendation would be for the Kubota, after reviewing and looking at the specifications and the warranties, $74,739.
Stacy, are these all pretty comparable, as far, I mean, they're all different manufacturers and models, but it looks like we've got Kubota, John Deere, Caterpillar, and then a Takeuchi.
Yeah, they're all comparable. Only two of the four met the criteria that was asked for. We're asking for 6-angle lathe. It's something new, and only two of them offered it. And out of the two, Kubota was still the lowest. And then we got a Kubota right now, that we're gonna keep for a while, but it's got between $7,500 and $8,000.
Do you think we need to have, so how long have you had the other one? Roughly?
Roughly 12, 13 years.
Is there any reason to also choose to get the 2-year extended warranty? It comes with a standard 24-month.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's got a standard 2-year warranty on the machine and 1 year warranty on the tractor.
Yeah.
I don't think we should go with that extra 2 year.
Good, I'll make the motion to go with Kubota.
So David Kelch has made a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Craig Miller. Is there any further questions or discussion?
I would further the discussion by saying that, you know, this was Riverside Tractor in Augusta that moved down to Campbell County, you know, kind of out of their hands that they had to move. But I think when I went down there for the grand opening, they probably have at least 5 or 6 Bracken County employees. So it's definitely showing that we're trying to support our citizens also.
Any further discussion? Call for a vote?
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Ruff,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield.
Yes.
I had the county county radio system on here in case decisions were not able to be made on Monday, but decisions were made, so we can move on to the next item. I have the county treasurer for training incentive, Lois Garrison.
In amount of,
She didn't get it. She's bringing it up.
The training incentive for the treasurer was actually added in our current fiscal year budget. But in order for that to actually be processed, the fiscal court has to set my guidelines for what is required of me as far as like hours to complete, because county treasurers don't fall under the House Bill 810 like you all do.
So we would need what?
So you would have to set like hours. Most county treasurers that I've talked to, they follow the House Bill 810, but not all do. Some may require like 30 hours with like less pay that they're willing to pay out. So it's really up to you all, like the amount and the hours that's required for the training.
My suggestion would be to just follow the same thing that we do to make it standard.
Right, I agree.
I just think that it's really important for the county treasurer to be a part of that, because outside of you all, like, the treasurer plays the main role for the county. And there's constant, all of the reporting and the guidelines and stuff that has to be followed that I have to keep up with. It can be a lot sometimes, and so I just feel like it's important for whoever's in that position to be able to earn the incentive as well, because the trainings are necessary.
I do know
So-
sometimes there's changes weekly
Yeah,
on those items.
yep. So like I said, it's up to you all if you want me to do like 40 hours. Some counties will go with 30 but the majority just follows the House Bill 810. But in order for that to actually be claimed and processed, it needs to be documented in fiscal court minutes.
And it needs to be
exactly what
voted.
is required of me and how much the incentive would be once those hours have been completed, so.
So House Bill 810 is 40 hours annually,
Correct.
Which you would probably go over that anyway.
Right.
But 40 hours annually, and then the pay set is over that 4-year period.
Mhm.
Because I believe treasurer appointments are 4 years.
Correct.
That sounds reasonable to me. Keep it standard.
So I need a motion on the floor with that being said.
I'll make the motion to make the county treasurer's training incentive to follow the House Bill 810.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So Debbie Mayfield has made the motion, Sandy Rufus second. Is there any further questions for the treasurer on this?
I got a question for us, Judge. What about the timing? Does it need to be effective for the 2026 calendar year?
I'm not sure about that, but we can make it effective 2026.
I mean, obviously,
July
the
1st.
training and the different conferences and
Yeah.
meetings can be utilized, and probably could still definitely get over 40 hours from now through
Absolutely.
December.
Between-
I have another question. Like, I know you all get your sheets signed off. Those sheets are available. I mean, how would you like me to give you documentation and proof that I've attended these meetings and that I was present and how many hours? Like, how would you all like me to, so that way it can be documented in the fiscal court minutes?
Would it be easier when you get your letter, when the treasurer gets the letter that she needs to be paid,
Well,
to
see,
turn in the
I
whole
won't get a
year's?
letter.
You won't get a letter from,
Yeah, see, I won't get a letter. I can keep my time, I would have to present my hours to the fiscal court, and they could review my hours. Once that's approved, then the training incentive could be dispersed. So it's the fiscal court approving my hours. I won't get a letter.
I think we could bring one of the DLG papers from one of their documents that we get signed and go through next week from the conference. Use that as a prototype to follow through, her training and conferences, meetings. She documents them to the judge executive, whomever the treasurer is, documents those with the judge executive. Judge executive brings them before the fiscal court and then we all follow the same pattern as
Correct.
the other members.
Plus, you have to pay for those conferences just like we do, correct?
We do have a line item in the
There's a
budget that
treasurer's
allows me so
expense.
much, so the county is paying for.
Correct, but I mean, you're paying for those conferences so that you have a receipt showing that you're
Yes.
going to those conferences.
So, if she sends, like, each training to the judge's office, that could be put in her employee file by HR. And then when you have hit your 40 hours, you could keep track of that. When you hit your 40 hours, the fiscal court meeting, like, beginning that next month, is when it would be up for approval. And you would have all the documentation to make copies of, for the court,
Right, because I would,
in your employee file.
I would need to attach that with the incentive check, just like I
Right.
did you all, because I attached that letter showing that you have met the requirements of the 40 hours. So for auditing purposes, I would need to attach all of that with the check that's printed.
But that, would that be a good process, though,
It would
to
be,
send
yeah,
it to HR? Every time you complete training, they put it in your folder. When you reach your 40 hours, you go down there and make copies of what you need out of your file.
Correct.
And then you've got a monthly report that you can give the very next meeting at court, where they vote separately on your training incentive, just like the magistrates and the judge. That way, it's all documented across the board. Does that sound like a good process?
Calendar year, just, I mean, I feel like it should go exactly, you know,
Now, I feel like it should be fiscal year, because your appointment is July 1 to June 30th in 4 years.
Yeah, that sounds better.
I think fiscal
Yeah.
year.
okay, so you all set.
So it would begin July 1, 2026. Being, nothing's being sent from DLG, and we're operating like House Bill 10, but you don't actually fall under that. I feel like it should be fiscal year.
I agree.
And what about rollover hours? Is that something or no? I think that should be clarified as well. Like, if I was to go over 40 hours, would I be allowed to carry those over or just?
Well, ours do, so if we're following 810, they should roll over.
Yeah, I agree. At least up to a year.
So, Debbie, are you including that in your motion?
I would include that.
Any hours over 40 hours annually would roll over to the following fiscal year?
Yes.
Okay.
That's my opinion. If we're
Okay.
following 810, that's what the magistrates do, so why wouldn't it apply to her?
And that also includes county clerk, sheriff,
Right,
Correct.
who else?
all of us up here.
Well,
Judge
but those
executive,
are the
coun-
two other offices.
county clerk and sheriff, yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, they don't.
No, the coroner's not included. The jailer is.
Okay.
18. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Ruff,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott.
Yes.
Thank you for presenting that, Lois, and reminding us that needed a separate approval. Bracken County budget, that's gonna be tabled until our second reading and adoption on June 24th. Moving on to the financials, we have, general fund budget transfers. I'll ask for a motion on the floor.
Motion.
Heather Brumley's made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Scott, any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Ruff,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley.
Yes.
Road fund budget transfers. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion.
David Kelch, do I have a second?
Second.
Danny Holleran, any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Ruff.
Yes.
Dispatch 911 fund budget transfers.
Motion.
Motion by Debbie Mayfield. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Scott. Any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller.
Yes.
General fund vendor claims. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion.
Motion by Craig Miller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Debbie Mayfield. Any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof.
Yes.
Road fund vendor claims. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Sandy Roof. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that David Kelch?
Yes.
David Kelch. Any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller.
Yes.
Jail fund vendor claims. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Danny Holleran. Do I have a second?
Second.
Debbie Mayfield. Any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch.
Yes.
Senior citizen fund vendor claims. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion.
Motion by Sandy Roof. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Scott. Any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran.
Yes.
Dispatch fund vendor claims. Do I have a motion on the floor?
Motion.
David Kelch. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Scott. Any discussion or questions? Call for a vote.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley,
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield.
Yes.
I would also like to, if you go back up to these transfers, road fund transfer, we probably need to include to transfer funds that are needed for the blacktopping and the excavator. I know it was budgeted for, but we have done projects that we have not received, reimbursement for from the state. So there may not be actual cash laying in the checking account. We probably, am I wrong, Lois, in thinking that we need to approve transfers to cover those two bids? So I'll ask for a motion on the floor to do that.
Motion.
And I will actually in the minutes include that underneath the bid acceptances so that we have it documented correctly. So Debbie Mayfield has made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Sandy Roof has seconded. Is there any discussions? Call for a vote.
Yes.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott.
Yes.
Under other business for judge and magistrates, I'm gonna hand the floor over to, our treasurer, Lois Garrison. She wants to discuss some information about the direct deposit.
Okay, so, March of 2025, I sent out a survey to all employees to see if they would be interested in direct deposit. Because that was work I was willing to put in for the employees if that's what they wanted. I had 40 yes and 11 no from my first survey. So the majority was in favor of direct deposit. After I collected all of that data, after speaking with the banks, and I got with some other counties that have direct deposit, I learned that our current payday because our pay period starts on Friday and ends on Thursday. So I get timesheets Thursday evening or Friday morning, and I process payroll that day. In order to go to direct deposit, I'd spoke with the judge, and we had thought about, because we currently have like dispatch and clerk, I process their payrolls on Monday. Us, the road department, those are processed on Fridays. In order to do that, we was gonna have to put pretty much everybody on the same pay period, because that would just be way too much work trying to process payrolls. It would just be easier to do it all together. So we would have to make the change from that to all employees would go from, well, it'd be Sunday to Saturday. And so I wanted to let employees know that that was going to be a change, and they can no longer get paid like on Friday. It would be Friday the following week, because I would have to have time to collect all the timesheets, make sure all the timesheets were correct, because I run into that a lot too. Like I have to go through timesheets just to make sure everybody's, because I have to answer to the auditor if somebody's paid more than hours than what's reflecting. So in order to do that, and then create my files, send them to the bank, it would be 1 week. We would have to hold back 1 week on them actually getting their paycheck. It would just be the initial one time. So I sent out the final survey. The response I got from that was 27 was in favor. They selected yes, and there was 29 that said no. So the majority is not in favor of that. So I guess at this point in time, that'll kind of be dropped off the table unless at any point the fiscal court feels like, hey, you know, we're gonna make this change anyway. But as of right now, considering the changes that had to be made, employees are not in favor of direct deposit. Just to give you an idea of the cost, I looked at some numbers, if you're wondering about that. We are paying about 30 cents per check. And in a month's time, I print about 130 checks. So that's $39 per month just for the check. We do have a copier lease agreement that we pay monthly, and that's charged by click. So every copy that's ran through that, we're charged. It's around 9 cents. So we're looking at $50.70 per month with an annual fee of around $608.40 to process payroll and paper checks. So that's how much we're spending per year, $608.40.
Annually.
Annually, correct. So that's $50.70 per month is what it's costing to run payroll checks, just so you all have that information.
What's the cost for the direct deposit?
There was no cost associated with direct deposit. I spoke with First National and I spoke with People's Bank. And People's Bank was actually given like some sort of incentive to employees if they open an account over there. And I mean, they don't have to bank. I would send my paperwork to our bank, to First National, and they could disperse to any bank. So employees wouldn't have to switch their banks or nothing like that.
My suggestion is just keep it the same.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I was just willing to put in the work for employees if that was a change that was,
But I appreciate your time.
that was wanted to be
Lois, for
made,
doing
so.
that, but
And I
yeah.
wanted to give you all the information from that, so.
Good report.
Thank you all.
Lois, I got a question. So if this is something to be considered down the road, I mean, obviously a year ago, it was 4-1, and now understandably, if somebody's gonna miss a week's paycheck, it matters.
Right.
How much easier would this be in the future for our treasurer to have a payroll system that's all done on the same day in the same time frame
Oh,
every other week?
It would be great if we could get everybody back on the same pay period.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because I'm processing 2 payrolls 1 week, and then I have the semi-monthly payrolls, that's the 15th and 30th of each month, and then the fourth Wednesday of the month for the elected officials, for magistrates, and So I'm running
You're on three
several
different, you're on three
payrolls.
different cycles.
Huh, yeah, there's all different cycles. So it would be nice if we could get all biweekly employees pay on the same schedule, and then we have our semi-monthly and our monthly.
I think this would be something for a new administration and court
Right.
in
I think,
2027 to definitely consider
right.
and to be
Is
brought
there-
beforehand.
Is
So,
there any department right now that has a payroll that had a week's pay withheld? You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So no one has, like, if they were to leave employment, that they have a week's pay that they had withheld when they first started? No, everybody's paid current.
Right.
It's not like they're gonna be missing a week's pay, it's just that eventually down the road.
It'd be a week later.
Right,
Yeah,
and it would
a
just
week
be that
later.
one initial week, then it would be back to the 2-week, being
Correct.
consistent with the
Correct.
2 weeks.
There's lots of industries that withhold a week's pay when
Right.
you start.
Right.
No
so,
one likes that, I understand, but
Yeah. So,
it's not like you eventually, you're not gonna get it. I agree with you, Craig. The new administration should look into that because it does make it easier for the county treasurer. It's a time saving,
yeah.
not to mention somewhat of a financial saving as well.
And there's a lot of other work involved in payroll. You know, I have to call in have to make the federal payroll tax payment from the payroll that I ran. So there's a lot of work involved in running a payroll.
And you're doing that 3 times correctly?
Right.
Yeah, that would be a big savings.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Just another thing I want to throw out there, I'll remind you again, I said it earlier, we're going to be putting notices out on June 18th for rock and fuel bids. That'll be ready to talk about at the next meeting. I may have some good news. I met with a lady that came into the office from, I believe it's Kentucky Department of Library and Archives, is that correct? She came into the office and we had quite a lengthy discussion about ordinances, how we wanted all of them gathered from the old fiscal court books, you know, just to make sure everything is updated, nothing was left out. The last time we did that, I believe Paget was judge, so it's been quite a long time. And then we had a discussion about grants available for that and grants available for digitizing these ordinances to be able to post them on our website. So she is searching for grants and emailing me bits of information. Once she gets all the information to me and I review it, we're supposed to get back together and have a sit down. So that was kind of some good news because we've been looking for that for a little while. And the funding may be there. So I just wanted to let you all know that was good news for the week. So is there anything else the magistrates would like to bring before the court this morning?
Judge, when's District 6 supposed to be with us? Next month or end of next meeting, or do you know?
I'm gonna have to reach out to them because they have not reached out to us.
Have you heard anything about the reduced speed limit sign on east of Augusta due to the
I have
General
not.
Dollar Store?
I haven't.
You know, we got golf carts now coming out of Augusta, and generally, as you know, the store is in city limits. They're running 55 past there. It's gonna be a matter of time. We're gonna have a serious accident there. You know, they need to do something.
Well, I mean, the letter and the request have been sent.
Yeah, I know, I
will-
understand, but I just wanna know if you heard anything.
I have
back.
not heard a word, but I will check on that. I will send an email out and make a phone call.
That
leave a
speed limit
message.
needs to be reduced just as quickly as we can get it done.
Right.
I thought golf carts weren't allowed on Rowdy.
They're not allowed to go that area. It's illegal for a golf cart to, but it's
But I
happening.
have seen them going out there. They're already running out there with golf carts.
And you're gonna have kids on it, even though they're not supposed to be. You see kids all over Augusta on
And
golf carts.
55 is not
Have for
regulated
years.
until it gets past the bridge, past the store.
Mhm.
And coming down that hill, Troy can tell you, there's a mountain there. You
Yeah.
cannot see when you point out there.
Yeah.
They're running 55 semis. So it's just gonna be a matter of time. Something serious is gonna happen there if we don't get it reduced.
It's probably something Augusta's gonna have to address, isn't it?
Well,
state highway.
Judge and
Yeah,
I have
Augusta
been
with
reaching
the
out to the
state.
state.
I sent a letter of request, because I know Craig had made several phone calls and then he came to me and then David actually had talked to someone at District 6, was it the Reynolds gentleman?
Yes, Mr.
And
Reynolds.
Reynolds called me about it. So I put it on letterhead and put the full request in, sent pictures of the location and everything. So, and that's been,
It's been back in March.
yeah, maybe March. So I'll have to, check on that this afternoon or in the morning.
All right, thank you.
But then again, you know, to just, you know, how many people, we're not supposed to be on the roads with RTVs, but yet there
Stop sign.
still are those that are doing it, so you'll still have them that'll do that, unfortunately. It just takes some tickets getting out there to stop them.
Anything else to come before the court from the magistrates?
I got an email from WIC that came from Kaylee Ziegler at Buffalo Trace. Anyway, it has to do with a low-cost alert system. There is a grant and a pot of money for these systems to be put on creeks and areas that are prone to flood. It costs anywhere from like $30,000 to $40,000 for these to be put on these creeks, but they have 20 to give away. So you had to jump in. So it was the first people to jump in. So WIC sent it to me because of the North Fork. So I called immediately. I bypassed Buffalo Trace because they weren't answering my call, and I hurried up and called this Brian Stores and had a great conversation with him. And he was talking about there are so many people wanting these that he's hoping more people will jump in and they'll be able to get more of these because of it. But I wanted to let everybody know that he is willing to come to the court to talk, because he said, I'm actually doing flood mitigation right now in Pendleton County, Harrison County. Your county's going to be involved. So he said he would come and talk about what they're doing with flood mitigation, what these boxes that will take care of, like they set at a threshold, and once that water hits the threshold, it sends a text out to the whole county, so that if you're at work, you get and you live along the North Fork, you would get a text alert, or I might get a text alert and be able to alert somebody else, hey, the flood water is getting up. I also talked to him about Bracken Creek. I said, to me, those are the two that we see a lot of flooding on. The only downside to it is, yes, these boxes are free. The negative is that we would have to pay $2,500 per box a year. But in my way of thinking, what is $5,000 when it keeps people from possibly, dying because of some of these flash floods that we get? So I just wanted to bring that up, and if people were interested, he is willing to come and talk to us, and I think that would be a good thing.
Absolutely.
Heather, he's come to the board meetings at Buffalo Trace several times. He met with Augusta, I think Gretchen, because she's flooding all that down there. I think John Laycock had her in charge of this, and then Put and myself, and we spent 2 weeks marking his big maps of flood areas and roads, and so he actually has those large maps. He's making his way back through, so our turn's coming up. But I did talk to Kaylee Ziegler, and I okayed it, for them to at least throw us in the pot. That was last week, because I had a mitigation meeting up there, regional, and I passed that along to her. So hopefully we won't get left out between you and me, and So they have all the maps with all the flooded areas, all the roads that go underwater. I mean, we marked everything.
I just thought it would be really good for him to talk to us.
It would. It'd be great. It'd be good. Like I said, he comes to board meetings all the time. So I knew he would be very willing to come and do that for us. Is there anything else that needs to come before the court from the magistrates? And I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion by Heather Brumley. Do I have a second?
Second.
John Scott. Call for a vote.
Judge Teagarden,
Yes.
Sandy Roof,
Yes.
Craig Miller,
Yes.
David Kelch,
Yes.
Danny Holleran,
Yes.
Debbie Mayfield,
Yes.
John Scott,
Yes.
Heather Brumley.
Yes.